1998. France win the World Cup for the first time, at home. 20 years later, in 2018, they win it again, with a completely different team. 2 World Cups, a generation apart, almost no shared players. Most countries would kill for one golden generation. France just builds new ones, on schedule. The world calls it a talent boom. It isn't. It's a factory, designed, built and switched on after one of the most humiliating collapses in French football history. Hold on to that. This is how France turned winning the World Cup into a system. Rewind to the 1980s. France had Michel Platini, one of the greatest players alive, and a team that lit up the world. And then it just stopped. Platini's generation aged out, and nothing came behind it. France failed to qualify for the 1990 World Cup. Then they failed to qualify for 1994 too, collapsing at home in a game they only needed to draw. A proud football nation missing back-to-back World Cups. Humiliated, and instead of blaming the players, a few people at the French Federation asked a colder question. What if we stopped getting lucky with talent and started manufacturing it? That question already had the beginnings of an answer. In 1988, the French Federation opened a place called Clairefontaine, a national football institute deep in a forest outside Paris. The idea was almost industrial, borrowed from the old Eastern Bloc sports schools. Take the most gifted 13-year-olds in the region, put them in one elite center with the best coaching on earth, and forge them. But Clairefontaine alone was never the whole plan. It was the flagship of something much bigger. 2 pieces: build the academies and feed the entire country into them. Let's take them in order. Piece 1, the machine itself. Clairefontaine isn't a one-off, it's the crown of a national network. More than a dozen elite federation academies spread across France, all run to the same blueprint. Here's how it works. Scouts comb the entire country for the best kids. We're talking 11, 12, 13 years old. The very best are pulled into an academy. There they get world-class coaching, real schooling, structure and games for years, before a single professional club ever signs them. By the time a French teenager reaches the pros, he hasn't just played a lot of football. He's been engineered. France stopped leaving talent to chance and turned it into a production line. And it's not just where they catch the talent, it's how they coach it. France made a deliberate choice decades ago. At the youngest ages, stop obsessing over winning and obsess over technique. Ball mastery, first touch, decision-making, drilled for years before results ever matter. They call it formation à la française, and they backed it with an army of qualified coaches. France has more licensed coaches than almost any country on earth. So a French kid isn't just bigger or faster. He's been taught the game deliberately by experts since he was 10. And piece 2 is where it gets ridiculous, because the factory sits on top of the richest seam of football talent on the planet. The Paris suburbs, the banlieues. One region alone, Seine-Saint-Denis, has produced more World Cup footballers than almost anywhere on earth. Dense, young, diverse, generations of immigrant families, kids playing in concrete cages until midnight with everything to prove. The most famous of them grew up in a suburb called Bondy. You know him, Kylian Mbappé. The academies don't have to create the hunger. The banlieue supplies it. They just catch it and sharpen it. Want to see the machine in one career? Thierry Henry, a kid from a Paris suburb called Les Ulis, spotted early and pulled into Clairefontaine as a teenager. The academy shaped him, Monaco refined him, and at the 1998 World Cup, at just 20 years old, he was France's top scorer as they won the whole thing. From a suburban pitch to the National Academy to world champion, before he was old enough to drink in some countries. That's not a fairy tale. That is the system doing exactly precisely what it was designed to do. So, does the machine actually work? 1998, exactly a decade after Clairefontaine opened, France hosts the World Cup. And the team that takes the field is the country itself, black, white and North African, sons of immigrants and sons of farmers, many of them academy forged. At the heart of it, Zinedine Zidane, they win the whole thing. France's first ever World Cup, a nation that had missed 2 tournaments in a row, was, 10 years later, champion of the world. The factory had produced its first crown, and that 1998 team was more than a football side. Black, white and Arab, Black Blanc Bleu, the French called it. Sons of immigrants from Africa, the Caribbean, everywhere. At the center, Zinedine Zidane, the son of Algerian immigrants, scoring twice in the final. For one summer, a country that argued endlessly about identity looked at this team and just saw France. The factory hadn't only built a winner, it had built a mirror of who the country actually was. And for a moment, the whole nation loved what it saw. Now here's the part that proves it wasn't a fluke. 2018, 20 years later. France win the World Cup again, with a team almost nobody from '98 would recognize. Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kanté, Antoine Griezmann, and a 19-year-old from Bondy, Kylian Mbappé, tearing the tournament apart. Different players, different generation, the same factory. Most countries get one golden generation in a lifetime and build a statue. France produced 2 World Cup winning teams, 20 years apart, out of the same system, and the conveyor belt never even slowed down. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The machine became too good. France now produces so much talent that it physically cannot use it all, so the overflow goes everywhere else. Look closely at other national teams, and you'll find them stacked with players born and raised in France, forged in French academies, who chose to represent Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, and a dozen more. At the 2022 World Cup, France's own production line was suiting up for half the tournament. The factory got so productive it started supplying the entire world. That's not a bug, it's the wildest possible proof that the system works. And here's the part that should tell you everything. The rest of the world took notes. When other football nations went looking for a way out of mediocrity, again and again, they built their own version of what France did. A national academy, a long-term plan, talent manufactured instead of hoped for. Germany did it, Japan did it, Senegal did it. France didn't just build a team, it wrote the blueprint that half the planet is now copying. The original talent factory, and still the most productive one on Earth. Which brings us to the real weakness, and it isn't talent, it's everything else. The 2010 World Cup. France arrives stacked with stars and implode. The squad falls out with the manager so badly that the players refuse to train. A full-blown strike on the world stage. They crash out in disgrace. The lesson was brutal, and it still hangs over them. A factory can manufacture talent. It cannot manufacture humility or chemistry or a dressing room that actually likes each other. The best collection of players on Earth is not automatically the best team. And there's a deeper tension underneath all of it. The talent comes overwhelmingly from the banlieues, the same immigrant suburbs France spends the rest of the time arguing about. When the team wins, the whole country wraps itself in the flag. When it loses, some of the same voices turn on the very players they were cheering. The factory's greatest product, this diverse banlieue-built team, is also a mirror held up to France itself. And France does not always like what it sees. That pressure is real, and it follows every squad they send out. So where does that leave them in 2026? Exactly where the plan always points. The machine has not stopped for a single day. Somewhere in a regional academy right now, there is a 14-year-old who will win France a World Cup in the 2030s. And the system already knows his name. The question for France was never going to be talent. They solved talent 30 years ago. The only question left is the human one. Can the most gifted squad on the planet actually hold together long enough to win it again? So how good are they, honestly? The floor is the quarterfinals. France are too deep, too gifted, too well built to go out early. It would take another implosion. The ceiling is the trophy, full stop. They have won 2 of the last 7 World Cups and reached another final in between. Nobody manufactures footballers like France does. Here is the honest verdict. France did not get lucky twice. They built a machine that turned a humiliation in the 80s into world champions, on repeat. And it is still running at full speed. So you tell me, do France win it again in 2026? Drop it below and tell me which country's plan you want next. Welcome to Matchday. Subscribe. We're doing this all tournament long.